Alright, so for this video in particular, I'm going to be using my notebook as a reference because I have a lot of stuff written down that I want to share with you today, and it's really beneficial that you at least try to watch this video all the way through, because I list out multiple points about interpretation, which will be different like landmarks or perspectives for you to understand. And sorry about that. And they'll help you observe more things in your life as a general thing and so on. So to begin, I have 6 bullet points of this question that I asked as a journal. I asked, how has interpretation impacted me in a negative manner? And I have 6 bullet points, and I have an expansion for all those, which I will be sharing with you today. So, I'm going to start. How has interpretation impacted me in a negative manner? Now, for this question, the reason why it came up to me was because I was thinking about kind of like a personal relationship thing I have, and I was thinking about why it's not exactly, why it's not damaged, and I'm not going to go into details because privacy reasons, but basically, that kind of question came up to me as well, due to my, like, current level of success, which isn't much, but, like, it's enough to be seen beyond an average person, so, but I want, obviously, I mean, I'm here for a reason, right? So, well, alright, so for the 6 bullet points, we've got outlook on relationships, implications of my father's speech, putting mental effort towards useless, sorry, my writing's really small, putting mental effort towards useless agendas, example, memorizing the lyrics to songs, caused me to lose a chunk of compassion towards people as a whole, remembering/reliving stupid shit to figure out what she means, i.e., and the fix would be to observe how she feels. Number 6, let my past experiences dictate how I give others' futures by itself. These things were all getting impacted by the way of my interpretation. Or these were all effects of my interpretation. So, my past views on relationships formed from remembering 2 things about my environment and the relationship I saw between my mother and my father. The first one being the monotonous, not ingenuine, but kind of lackadaisical I love yous from my parents. And every night, it's not like you don't really feel like there's something there, right? There's no like density in the air when it happens. It's just like, oh, word, juju, and that's it. It's almost like they treat it as like this form of taboo, and it's just really weird. And for reference, taboo means like you shouldn't say that thing, if for some of you are confused. So that's number 1. And it does hurt a bit, but wow. I'm looking back at what I wrote in here because I haven't seen it I wrote it a couple days ago. Wow. Alright. Let me show you these 2 lines that I wrote while I was doing this. It hurts. The void from trying to recall when I could feel actual love. It's something you can't cover with projections and playing fake stories to yourself. Maximum amount of beliefs cannot counter this void, only action can, which is what I feel fulfillment by if it means I catch yours early. So yeah. I didn't even remember that, to be honest with you, that I wrote that down. But it's really powerful, in my opinion. Either way, we'll be going on. Number 2, for the second point, is... seeing only loss through the fact that I watched both my grandmas die before the age of 11. This meaning, like, I took this as some type of perspective where it's natural for me to lose people rather than to gain people, especially in like a close, heartfelt way, right? So, in a way, it's a form of damage, and it's really negatively impacting because of the way I interpreted it a long time ago, which I'm trying to fix now. And if you have something like that along the lines, I recommend you would fix it, because it's probably something that might be a deeper problem, and I may be capable of unmasking that for you, the audience. Now, number 2, right? Oh, no, never mind, sorry. Yeah, alright. So, second point, my father's speech. He talks in a way where his words are easily interpreted as what I call poisonous spikes. I want to apologize for him because he doesn't know any better, but I'm unaware if he's capable of understanding this fallacy, right? This way that he speaks to people in this like sarcastic sort of dagger way. And I mean like a literal dagger. It's just like he doesn't understand social boundaries very well, like at all. And unfortunately, I think I've gotten some of that as well. So I apologize if I step over some form of social boundary which may seem or may be like unacceptable for you. But yet again, we also have different opinions, so if I say something that sounds controversial and you're like, that hurts, it's like, okay, then whatever. But anyways, so it's not easy to change someone's entire dialect. So what do? And I wrote here that if anybody has like a psychology background behind them, like literal education behind them, I'd be willing to hear you out for some form of solution or some form of thing that you might be able to see. I mean, obviously it's very limited because I have one perspective and I'm speaking to a camera, but if you could see anything there in detail that's noticeable and you would be willing to put that in the comments or something, then great. But besides that, I'm going to mention this. For a caveat, I don't want any that's okays because it's not okay, obviously. Like, I wrote here, does it look like I'm blind? So if I get like that's okays in the comments, like no. That's a problem. To go on to a little bit of a side tangent before my third point, I want to say that people who try to like tell you that's okay when you openly discuss a problem with somebody or what you believe is a problem and then they say that's okay, that's basically like, okay, for example, that'd be like taking this, I don't know if you can really see it that well because it's kind of healed now, but like it'd be taking this and like putting like a little bit of Neosporin on it but with no Band-Aid. It's like, hey, that's not gonna fix anything. It's just gonna like sit there and it's just gonna look weird. It's gonna like dry off and whatever, right? It's not a permanent fix to a problem, right? And when people go on to say, oh yeah, that's okay, they're literally limiting you from being able to solve your problems by adding another psychological layer. Oh, but other people think it's okay. It's not fucking okay if you don't think it's okay. It's your problem. It's not their problem, right? So why would you put the responsibility of solving your problem onto somebody else who is probably a fucking stranger, and they're just gonna tell you, oh, that's okay, because they're gonna be too lazy to solve your problems because they got problems of their own. So you get this cycle, you know? So don't do that. don't listen to people say that's okay, because they're not actually doing anything. They're just feeding you a cycle, right? So that's my side tangent on that. Third point. Putting mental effort into unprioritized bullshit. All right? Interpreting that it's in a way, it's interpreting that the memorization of a song will give you a clout or sorts is garbage, right? And you're given a very limited amount of mental points every day. So going on with that, if you decide to use them for something like memorizing a song from, I don't even know, memorizing a song from Drake or something, right? Big thump outside. But if you go about it and you try to like memorize a song from Drake, right? Okay, you lose mental energy, and it's also towards something that maybe will make you fulfilled for like 5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes, you remember the lyric, or you remember the lyrics, and now what? Okay. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh yeah, you have to do all the hard, like, you can, that's optional. But I'm also saying that if you want to do something that's more relaxing, do it in a way where it benefits your future and not just right now. Right? Because 3 years from now, you're not going to remember those fucking Drake lyrics. And if you are, it's going to be buried in the back of your brain, and that's just going to be taking up extra space. Oh, sorry. Took a quick break. But, so, and then I have a couple questions for you, right, that I wrote down here, which I'm going to study right now. Do you really need to know who's on your best friend's list on Snap? Like, memorized. Do you really have to know what was Drake's last album? I don't. So, stop interpreting stupid shit as valuable, is what I'm saying, right? So, if I wanted to be successful, if I wanted to be rich in some way, shape, or form, right? Or if I want to be wealthy in some way, shape, or form, I would look at people that are wealthy in some way, shape, or form. What do? That is to prioritize, right? That is what's valuable. So if you see that they read, okay, what do they read? Okay, they read this, this, and this. Go get it and read it. Like, by doing that, you allow your knowledge to become similar to these people up here. So then now you're like, here. Obviously, you have to take more action and do other things and whatnot to get up there. The whole 9 yards. But once you get that idea down, then you can start interpreting the things that are valuable to you rather than seeing stupid shit like, oh, celebrity thing. Like, I don't know who the fuck the Kardashians are, okay? Like, I've seen them in my, like, I've seen the faces and pictures of them in my life maybe, like, 3 times. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people out here who obsess over other people, which makes no sense because you have problems yourself and you have obligations to yourself that you want to prove, but then you go out and you put it on somebody else by pretending to be them. Like, I hope the power goes out for you, because then you can come to realize that, oh shit, I'm just listening to a guy right now. I'm not actually applying these steps. I'm not actualizing how I can do this in my own life. So, number 4. In similarity to my personal experiences, like the ones about my grandmother's, it also caused me to lose compassion in other people. After all, what can I say to someone's empty vessel? Yet, they're still living. Yeah, you gotta understand that. The stress of this concept accumulates just like a poison, except I can cure it, and otherwise it won't kill me. And as I wrote this, I told myself that I'm also still interpreting all of this. So I've never truly felt something that I'd willingly define as love, and I hope you do. All right. So that's another point about my interpretation being false, is how it has these weaknesses in it. Now, at the end of all these, I will be giving you a solution to this, so don't feel like I'm just like ranting to you about something random, because I actually do have a structure to this. Don't worry. I should have mentioned that earlier, by the way. So sorry. And, okay, yep. So number 5 now. I've tried interpreting the past to understand a more positive position now. And at least for me, this doesn't work in a meaningful way. And I believe that the reason why this is because it just, well, for starters, it really angers me. And basically the best way to put it is my soul, my mind, I guess, it walks off to find some sort of justification for this anger that I created within myself. Like I'll start like just like pacing around, like for like I could be in my room and I was just pacing around. It's really wild, and I think it's because that I'm able to see, or that I match the amount of inconsistencies I see in myself with the amount I point out to others, which is genuinely a bad thing. Like, you shouldn't do that. And it doesn't prove that you're a quality person as who you are, right? It doesn't prove, like, okay, yes, this guy is right. Because, okay, my idea behind, like, doing this, obviously, is that I present someone a problem, and they understand it as, okay, how do I solve it? And then I can give them some sort of solution, which may be botched, which may be accurate, and then that puts them a little bit more forward. So, it's just that idea of seeing that, though, is that a lot of people don't actually process things like that, and they're more like, oh, wait, you said that to me? Fuck you. And then they, like, do whatever, right? So, it's just... it's a really piss-poor ideology, which I got to change. And I've started to realize that over the years as I've now started to become a more conscious being. And I'll probably make a video on that later in the future. Whatever. But, anyways. So, let's see. Because as much as I see others' incompetencies, I then start viewing my own. It's always the exact same sacrifice. Understood? I just do not want others to suffer this way. I pray he makes your suffering a simple issue to handle. This is the last one. I've let my past... I've let my past alone dictate actions that others should take to avoid it. This form, unlike all the other ones, maybe has a bit of more positivity within it. However, it is still does more harm than good because of the way that when I talk to you and I tell you, okay, go do this thing, I'm telling you that because of my past experiences, but I'm also telling you that now because of things that I've seen, right? Like external and internal, which is what I'm trying to get better at. So that way, when I bring a message to my audience, I'm not bringing a message that's just straight from me, because straight from me is not exactly the best source, right? Because I might botch up a couple words, you might interpret something differently, and then it's off the rails and down the hell. So, now, alright, so after this, I think was this where I took the break and then came back? Yes, it was, okay. So after this, I ended up taking like a 20-minute break for this timeline, for instance. Then I came back to write a little bit more. And I'm going to close the video off with this. Now we're here. You agree that we shouldn't interpret things, right? This is the reason meditation has its name, which is the solution for this video. Nothing else can solve such tremendous power, so be aware of when your interpretations hurt you. And the reason why I recommend meditation is because it allows you to observe things rather than perceive things. And when you observe things, you can understand someone's words for what they actually are, and you can understand someone's your perception as something else. And when you can fully distinguish the two, that is when you have the clarity to be able to start rolling forward your subconscious responses. Because a lot of people, they subconsciously respond to something, especially in conversation, especially in whatever, and half the time they won't actually get across the message that they want to because they don't know how to shut up and think for literally 30 seconds. You don't even have to you can at least half think it. By what I mean by half think is kind of formulate an idea and then just spit it out. But at least take the time to formulate an idea and then get it out there. Now, for meditation and for beginners, obviously, that's what I mean. I actually recommend Medito. It's this cool meditating app that I use, and it's really friendly for beginners. It's free. Everything's free. The videos are free. App's free. Do whatever. And you can just you can sit there. They're 5. I think the shortest they have is 5-minute videos, I believe. They could be shorter though, so don't quote me on that. But I'd recommend that you use that so that way you can develop this habit a bit easier. And you also, because it's kind of hard to tell what is the right form, is what I'm going to say. I'm going to choose careful words here. What is the right form to, not physical form. You'll understand what I mean when you do it for the first time. What type of form you should be at when you're meditating. So I'd recommend using Medito so they can help you. They can kind of guide you to what your form feels like, and it'll give you a better understanding of yourself, obviously, which is what's the whole goal of the thing is. So yeah, and as always, we're here to help you help them.
Alrighty, Raggy.